All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for your AEW Collision review for July 8th, 2023. It was again about the Owen Hart tournament. This time it was the semifinals. We had two matches. Ricky Starks versus Will Hobbs, Powerhouse Hobbs. They had they used to have a rivalry with each other. They were in the same group and shit, Team Taz. It was those two with Brian Cage, and that shit fell apart. And then the main event, we had CM Punk and Samoa Joe. Didn't really care. I didn't ever watch Ring of Honor, but this is the story they're telling or whatever. They showed the video package again for Punk and Joe. Their feud, how Samoa Joe's always beat CM Punk. I think he's 2-0 versus him prior to the night. And then they had two draws or some shit. So tonight was pretty much all about Punk trying to overcome Samoa Joe and shit to get him his first win versus Joe. I like the main event. I hate the finish for the Starks Hobbs match. That was stupid because the ref didn't even see QT Marshall trip Ricky Starks or whatever, and she got pissed off or she started accusing him or some shit of cheating in the match or whatever. Just made the ref look fucking stupid. So I hate the finish for that. And then I thought the tag match, FTR versus Bullet Club, the first half of that match was like just pretty much fucking boring with like fucking like holds and chops and shit. So it took a while for that match to pick up, and then it picked up like second half of the match and it turned really good, I guess. But I don't know. Those four guys, FTR, Juice Robinson, and Jay White, they're just like pretty much viewing the same. They're like four good wrestlers, but then they got like no like character, no personality and shit. That's what most of the wrestlers these days. You know, a lot of them can talk on the mic, but that's how you separate yourself from guys that just wrestle in the ring and then you're better on the mic. They separate those themselves from the good wrestlers, I guess, or some shit. All right, let's get to it. First up, CM Punk comes out. He says, I recognize the gravity of this moment. It's the biggest match of my career. If Joe kills me in my dream, he better wake up and apologize. That's kind of funny. He feels the finals in the tournament. This semifinals is the final in the tournament. If it was, I would be looking past Powerhouse Hobbs and Ricky Starks. Time will stand still. When we get in the ring, me and Joe, 18 years since I've been in the ring with Joe. I want you to chant for Owen Hart. If it wasn't for Owen, a lot of that locker room would be empty. None of us would be here if it wasn't for Owen Hart. And then, so for this promo, he like stood outside the ring near the fans and near the fans in the barricade or whatever, but he never got in the ring. It's kind of weird. He says, and then they had the Owen Hart trophy or whatever for the winner. So Punk walked over to that, and then he says, I will walk under ladders. I will break a mirror. I will touch the trophy. He's like a hockey fan. When you touch the trophy or whatever before the Stanley Cup final and the conference finals, it's like a curse or some shit, and you don't win it. Sometimes they win it, but most of the time they end up losing. Like whichever team touches the conference final trophy. So he's a Blackhawks fan or whatever. And he touches the trophy, and then he says, I will touch the trophy because I will not deserve it because I will earn it. That was a solid promo to start the show. He's a top guy, so he should be on pretty much like the talking segments every week, or not every week, but most of the time he should be doing talking segments to like start the show and shit. He's the top draw for this collision show. All right, next up we got the first of the semifinal matches for this show. Powerhouse Hobbs coming to the ring with QT Marshall. I forgot who the other guy was, and then there was this girl with him. Just two random people with QT Marshall, with Hobbs or whatever, and then Ricky Starks is by himself. So start the match. Starks hits a clothesline on Hobbs over the top rope, and he sends him outside. Starks hit another clothesline, and then he hit it. Starks tried to do a fireman carry or whatever. He put him on his back from the second rope. I think he tried to like slam him or some shit. Ricky Starks countered it, and he hit a power bomb from the second rope. Starks hit a tornado DDT, but when he hit it, he like slipped on the ropes or whatever, so it's pretty much a fucking botch. And then, okay, so this is where the finish is. Marshall, he grabs Ricky Starks' feet. The ref didn't see it, Aubrey Edwards or whatever. So she starts looking at QT Marshall, whatever, like, oh, did you interfere or whatever? Like, that's what the commentators were saying. We couldn't hear what she was saying, but that's, guess what she was assuming or whatever. So QT Marshall gets up on the fucking apron. He starts arguing to the ref and shit. All this is happening, and then in the ring, Hobbs hits the spine buster on Starks. He goes for the pin. QT and Aubrey Edwards are he's like yelling at her, whatever, make the count, whatever. And then Hobbs walks over to him. He's like, "What the hell are you doing?" or whatever. QT Marsh's still on the fucking apron, and then eventually Ricky Starks like he pushes or bumps into Hobbs, and then that knocks QT Marshall off the apron. Yeah, so he knocks QT Marshall off the apron, and then Starks hit the spear for the win. And then after the match, QT Marshall he tries to explain to Hobbs they're in the ring, what the hell to do or whatever. He was trying to tell the ref to make the count or whatever. Hobbs ain't having it, so Hobbs says fuck this guy. So he pushes QT Marshall in the ring, sends him to the ground, and then the other guy that he was with, he came to the ring to defend, to get in the way or whatever. So Hobbs spine busted him. And then the girl got in front of him, and then Powerhouse Hobbs just walks away. So it looks like Powerhouse Hobbs is gonna break away from QT Marshall and the stupid group. He doesn't really need them. He can just go out on his own and shit. So Ricky Starks is gonna advance to the finals, based on one of the main event. All right, next up we got a vignette with Miro. He says many men have lost themselves after a deal with the devil, but only one man has found himself after a showdown with his God. I am ready to fight anyone in ways that cannot hurt because nobody can hurt the man that has nobody left to love, cannot be tempted from my path, not by a shiny belt, a false god. I must be what my God was not. Kind of decent segment, I guess, but yeah, no match tonight or last night. It was okay, solid segment. Next up, we got Julia Hart. She squashes some fucking jobber. Don't really care about that. And then we got Malachi Black, the vignette with him. He says he's talking about Andrade here. You did not become who you are until you took off the mask. I have to hide like this in plain sight with my mask on. Something that you did that almost cost you defeat. As soon as Julia reached for your mask, you let that control your world. You have been led for years to believe that your mask is the reason for your success. You don't understand. Let's see here. You don't understand. Oh shit! It looks like it erased some of my writing. Okay, whatever. That the pretty much so the mask that it gave you more strength than it ever did when you were wearing. You were wearing it. You don't understand how great you can be until I teach you. You and I will cut that last vein that's pumping blood into that heart of lies that you have created. The entire world will see how truly great you are. So they should be having a match soon, I guess. They still got his fucking mask and shit. So right after this, Andrade, he has a segment backstage. Says, "Do you think I hide behind my mask? I am not a coward like you. My mask is everything to me. It's about my family, my culture, my country. When I take my mask off, it's time to fight." Okay, so this is so stupid. So the feud started with they took Andrade's mask or whatever, right? And now they're explaining how important the mask is. Shouldn't they have explained how important the mask is before they took the mask instead of after? They so stupid. It's just a dumb reason to start a feud. All right, next up we got FTR versus Bullet Club. He planted Cash onto the top rope and sent him outside the ring. Jay White hit Dax. He tossed Dax into the barricade outside. And then Cash Wheeler hit Juice Robinson with a clothesline, sending him over the top rope. And then Dax suplexed. He suplexed one guy, and then the other guy he suplexed on top of the other guy that was already down. Forgot which guy it was. He suplexed on top of the guy. I think it was Juice on top of Jay. And then Dax hit Jay White with two German suplexes. And then a brainbuster, and he got a 2 count. Cash Wheeler hit Juice with a back suplex on the apron. That shit looked brutal. And then Dax hit Juice with a superplex. And then Cash Wheeler he flew off the top rope for a splash. They got a 2 count. And then FTR hit a double pile driver combo on Jay White, and Juice Robinson broke up the pin. Uh, Jay White hit a Uranagi on Cash Wheeler, and Dax hit a slingshot power bomb for a near fall. It's where he bounces the guy off the rope, the top rope, and then he does the power bomb. Jay White hit Cash Wheeler with a Blade Runner, and then Juice Robinson slammed Dax Harwood into the mat. And so here was the finish. So Juice Robinson pinned Dax. This is a weird finish. He pinned Dax, and then Cash Wheeler tried to make the save, and Jay White blocked it. I think this was a botch or some shit. It was so fucking stupid. I didn't like the finish. But yeah, so Bullet Club beats FTR, and then there was a segment backstage. Pretty much Bullet Club challenged FTR to another match next week, 2 out of 3 falls. So this is gonna be the fourth time they're in the ring together. Bullet Club and FTR. This match is way too fucking long, man. They could have cut some of this time down. It was like 30, 35 minutes. So yeah, that's gonna be it for the tag titles next week. 2 out of 3 falls. Next up, we got Scorpio. What Scorpio's got? Where the fuck has this guy been, man? I think he was injured for like a year or some shit. Or they just had him. He just got lost in the shuffle. He beats an Action and Ready or whatever. Didn't really care about this. And we got next the main event. CM Punk for Samoa Joe. It was a slow start to the match. It was pretty much in the beginning, bunch of chops and holds and shit, chain wrestling, shit like that. And started to pick up a few minutes after that. So Punk was sitting on the top rope. Joe just chopped the shit out of him, and he sent Punk over the top rope to the outside. Back from the commercial break, Punk hit Joe with the running knee in the corner, and then Joe applied a sleeper. Punk countered with a suplex, and then Punk hit 3 running knees into the corner. Then Punk hit an elbow drop for a 2 count, and then Punk went for the GTS. Samoa Joe countered it into a crossface submission. CM Punk, he got his foot on the bottom rope, and then Joe hit a power slam for a near fall, and then Punk hit a high head kick for a 2 count, and then CM Punk hit a neck breaker, and he did a roll up for the win. After the match, they shook hands, and then Samoa Joe locked in the Queen of Clutch, and FTR came out to make the save, and then Ricky Stark, he just waits at the top of the ramp, and he just looks at Punk or whatever, stares him down. That was it for Collision. I didn't like the finish to this match either, because it was like a roll up pretty much. Because if he was gonna beat Samoa Joe for the first time, they should have hit his GTS or some shit, or maybe Anaconda Vice or some shit. His first win versus Joe. So in the finals now next week, it's gonna be CM Punk versus Ricky Starks, Owen Hart Cup tournament or Foundation tournament. There it says Ricky Starks should win this match, but it looks like Punk might win because I think Samoa they should because the so far Collision after the first month, they've only got the Owen Hart tournament really going, and this tournament's over next week, so you gotta get a fucking feud going, man, with CM Punk. So Samoa Joe, he should cost Punk the win or whatever, and help Ricky Starks win, and that's where you set up a feud after that. Because then you got the intrigue of, oh, why did Joe attack? Because he attacked him tonight or last night, and then he attacks him again next week. So and then the week after they can start building a feud for All In or whatever. Samoa Joe, they gotta if they don't, they gotta do this feud, man. this is gonna be a waste of an opportunity, man. For his first feud, for CM Punk's first feud. The build-up should be good. Both of these guys are good on the mic, so the promos are gonna be good for if they do that storyline. Then yeah, so it should be a good build-up. This is it's just gonna be, and then Ricky Starks. Oh, if he wins, who's he gonna feud with or whatever? Because last year it was Adam Cole that won, and I can't remember who he feuded with after he won that. Yeah, I don't remember. Yeah, but Ricky Starks should win this. And then maybe he can feud with maybe he can feud with Hobbs because Hobbs has got the excuse, right? QT Marshall he interfered or whatever in the match, so it could set up that feud. But they've already feuded before, so I don't know if it's a good idea. Or Starks could who else could he feud with? Dude, I don't know. Not a lot of other names you can feud with because it should be Punk and Joe, and then Starks should be, and you already feud with MJF. Uh, maybe Wardlow. Wardlow and Starks could be a good feud, or maybe Wardlow might be gone because he just lost the fucking TNT title again. I don't know. So yeah, that was pretty much it for Dynamite. See you.